Let's talk about just how easy it can be to make $1,000 a month working 5 hours a week or less and doing it by talking about what you love. And so far in my past videos, I've kind of talked a lot about the 5 hours a week side of things. There's sort of three buckets here that we talk about on this channel. There's the money side of things, then there is the time side of things, and then there is the talking about what you love side of things. And my goal is to push us towards the talking about what you love side of things, because that's what I want to focus on whenever I focus on my YouTube channel, but really I don't even view it like that. I just view it about like talking about what I love. But behind that, there is a system that we need to put in place so that we can focus the majority of our time talking about what we love and not on the money side of things, because the money will naturally roll in whenever we have this system set up and in place. And just think about in your head what I'm about to share with you. How complicated do you think it's going to be? Because so often people make this so complicated, and what I'm about to show you is not complicated at all. There's only 4 pieces of this, and they're not like mind-blowing. They're not something crazy that you need to be a rocket scientist to figure out. They're really simple. So let me just show you what lies underneath the hood of my making $1,000 a month working 5 hours a week or less by talking about what I love, and how you can implement it into your life as well. So here it is. This is it. This is the complete system that makes me $1,000 a month working 5 hours a week or less by talking about what I love. So let me just explain this. First of all, we have content. I'm going to break down each of these here in a moment, but we have content. So let's start with content, all right? And then from our content, we move to what's called a lead magnet. And then from the lead magnet, that gets people into our funnel. And then finally, we sell them a product. And at the core of it, it really is that simple. And so let me just give you a high-level overview of each of these, and then we'll dive in a little bit more specifically to each one. So we start with content, and all content is, for us, is a YouTube video. And this is what I've talked about so far on my channel, where basically we're just making one video a week. You can make more if you have more time than that to spend, or if you just really like making videos talking about what you love. But at the core of it, let's say YouTube video 1x per week. So that's all I'm doing right now to generate $1,000 a month, is I'm making one YouTube video per week. Now, after that, and by the way, that's where I spend the majority of my time, because this other stuff, the lead magnet, the funnel, the product, I don't find that stuff particularly fun. Although some of it relates to talking about what I love, it's not like something that I love to do. But the good thing is, once you have this lead magnet set up, once you have this funnel set up, once you have this product set up, then look what drives this system. It's just the content. It's just the YouTube video or whatever you want to make. If you want to make a podcast or a blog, it would work with that as well. But you focus all your time on the content, and then that content drives people into your lead magnet, which drives people into your funnel, which drives people into your product. So we started with the content. That's where we're going to be spending the majority of our time, because in doing so, we get to talk about what we love. Now let's move on to the lead magnet. And all a lead magnet is a free, helpful resource. You can just think of it like that. That could be a PDF, that could be an audio training, that could be a short video series. Whatever it is, you can package it however you want. We could call it a checklist, we could call it a template, any of those things. And all a lead magnet is, the reason that it's called a lead magnet is because a magnet attracts things. And what are we trying to attract? We're trying to attract leads that we can sell our product to. So, and if you're focusing on the business side of things, which I know that that's not really the main part of what we want to focus on in this $1,000 per month side income, but it is a very small part of it. And so we have to have a basic understanding of the business side of things. And so all a lead is somebody who might be interested in buying your product. And so the purpose of the lead magnet is to attract leads, but we don't do it by doing it like the super slimy way where we're just like shoving our products down people's throats because people don't like that. And honestly, I don't want to do that either because I find that pretty annoying. You know, you got those door-to-door salesmen who come and knock on your door and they like try to basically strong arm you into buying, I don't know, pest control services or getting your windows replaced or something, and it's really super annoying. We don't want to do that, and we don't need to do that, because all we want to do is we want to find people who might be interested in buying our product down the line. And the way that you do that is by, first of all, creating content, because that's going to build an audience of people who like what you talk about. So we aren't just selling to some cold audience who doesn't know who we are, and we don't even know if they want what we have or not. But then on top of that, at the end of our content, at the end of our YouTube video, we offer people a free lead magnet. And we would never use that term. We would never say, hey, this is a free lead magnet. Ultimately, we just want to call it a free helpful resource. So on this channel, for me, that is the 10 YouTube video ideas that work in any niche free PDF, which you can find down in the description below. I offer that to people who are wanting to start what I have outlined right here on the screen. And this is the first step in the process. The first step in the process of building this $1,000 per month side income, talking about what you love, is starting a YouTube channel. And it's hard to come up with YouTube video ideas whenever you first start. And so that's why my free lead magnet is 10 YouTube video ideas that work in any niche. And that's completely free. All you have to do is click in the description below and enter your email address, and then I email it to you. And so what is the benefit to us? Well, once somebody downloads that, now we have their email address, which means that we can follow up with them. And once again, this isn't like, oh, we're tricking people into giving us their email address. People know when they sign up for something that they're giving us their email address, and then we're probably going to contact them in the future. But the other part of it is that we aren't trying to be like super salesy in the follow-up either. We're trying to follow up with more helpful content. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like here, specifically through my funnel here in a moment. But we're just doing a high-level overview right now. So we start with YouTube video content at least once a week. At the end of every YouTube video that we film, or in the middle of it, or wherever it makes sense in it, we point people to our lead magnet. We tell them, click on the link in the description below for whatever it is, this free template, this free checklist, whatever relates to your niche that would be helpful for people. And then once they sign up for that, we email it to them through an automated process. That's what keeps our hours down. You aren't like physically emailing this to people. It's set up in the background. I'll show you how I have that set up here in a second. And then from the lead magnet, now we have their email address, and we can move on to the next part, which is the funnel. And the concept of a funnel is, okay, now we have their email address. You think of a funnel. It starts wide at the top, and then it gets smaller towards the bottom. And so actually, this whole process here is a funnel. We start with our content, our YouTube video, one time a week. That's the very top of the funnel. That's where the most people are going to interact with us. And then we move a little bit further down the funnel, and that's where we move to the lead magnet, because the lead magnet is somebody making the choice to go a little bit deeper with us by downloading something free that we're offering to them that's going to be helpful to them for whatever our niche is. And then we continue to move people down the funnel. And as we get further down the funnel, this looks like an automated email sequence. And I say automated because these are emails that we write in advance. And we're not just, once again, we're not just cramming our products down people's throat. We are providing them more helpful resources. And then eventually, we're going to pitch them our product, but once again, we don't need to be salesy and slimy when we do it, because remember what we have so far. We have somebody who is generally interested in our content. They watched our YouTube videos probably multiple times. They liked the way that we talked about things. They liked our philosophy of how we talked about our niche. In fact, they liked it so much that they wanted some additional help, so they downloaded our helpful free resource, which we call a lead magnet, because now they are a warm lead who are who have proven themselves to be interested in your topic, and not only that, but they like how you talk about whatever you're talking about. And then we move them into the funnel and put them into our automated email sequence where what do? We help them even more. We give them more free stuff. And then that eventually leads to the product. So the product could be anything. It could be an online course. It could be a template pack. It could be a PDF of some sort that helps them in some way. The options are endless. However you want to package the knowledge that you have to provide for people that will help them in the best way possible, you can sell whatever you want here. And really, at the core of it, that is the simple system that lies underneath the hood of making $1,000 per month, working 5 hours a week or less by talking about what you love. And let's just apply what I'm talking about here to the promise of this channel, that you can make $1,000 a month, working 5 hours a week or less by talking about what you love. So let's start with the talking about what you love part, right? And that's where this content part really comes in, because this is where we're going to be spending the majority of our time. Sure, we need to have a lead magnet in place. You create that one time, and then you've got that to offer in every video that you make. And then you've got to put together an automated email sequence. This is known as the funnel. And sure, you've got to do this one time, but once you write it, I mean, I had the same email sequence running for literally like 3 years, basically. So I put in the work one time. It took me like a week or something to craft a good email sequence. And then after that, I never had to worry about it again. And then finally, we have the product, which your product, that might sound intimidating, but once again, we're just talking about what we love. We're helping people do whatever is relevant to our niche. So it's not like you have to struggle to come up with something that you don't want to do. We just talk about what we love in our product. So that's the talking about what you love part. Let's talk about the $1,000 per month part. The $1,000 per month part comes in with the product here. And we'll do some math in the future to see just how many products you have to sell to actually make $1,000 a month, because it's actually going to be a lot less than you think that you have to do. We'll save that math exercise for a future video. But that's where the money part comes in. And notice how this all feeds into one another, which ties into the 5 hours per week thing, where I showed you last week in last week's video how I'm only spending 90 minutes a week basically working on my side income, because I already have the lead magnet in place. I already have the funnel in place. I already have the products in place. And so all of my time is spent on the content side of things. That's literally basically 100% of my time. And so all I need to do to feed this system, see how there's arrows here? The content leads into the lead magnet, which leads into the funnel, which pitches the product. That means that as long as we're putting people in the top of the funnel through our YouTube content, once we have the rest of this system in place, then we don't really need to worry about it again, and we can just focus all of our time spending it on content. And that's how we get to the 5 hours a week or less, because once you have this stuff set up, the lead magnet, the funnel, the product, you don't really have to worry about that stuff anymore unless you want to create new products or if you want to refine your funnel or whatever. But honestly, you'll get it to a point where it's good enough, and then you can just let it run on autopilot, and you can focus all your time on bringing in new leads through your YouTube videos, but you do it by talking about what you love. So let me wrap this video up by showing you exactly what this looks like in my other YouTube channel. Like I said, I have another YouTube channel where I talk about worship leading in the church, and I've been doing that YouTube channel for 7 years, and I've made $1,000 per month for the past 3 years, working 5 hours a week or less. So that's why I know how to do this, because I've done it in the past. So let's just show what this engine actually looks like in practice. So what do we have first? We have content, right? So here's my content. Here's an example of content. This is my other YouTube channel. I've got 53,000 subscribers, which honestly isn't that much. Maybe that sounds like a lot to you, but honestly, it's not that much. And so we've got a video that I put out this video a month ago. This was one of my weekly videos, and all I do in this video is I talk about something that I love. I talk about 5 modern worship songs that I actually love right now. For the context of this channel, I'm talking about worship leading in a church, which is I'm in charge of like the musical side of things at church, and so I'm talking about songs because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I love to talk about. So I made a video talking about it, and look at what that video did. It got me 11,000 views. Now, 11,000 views, that's all fine and dandy, but that doesn't really translate into much money. We looked at my AdSense in one of the first videos that I put out on this YouTube channel, and I don't know how much money I made from just those views. I guess I could look it up here. Let's see how much money I made from AdSense here. Oh, I mean, I made $62, which, I mean, I guess that's good, but that's not going to, feed me for the month or anything. So that's what 11,000 views get you if you're interested in estimated revenue. But how else does that drive this process? And that's where we can look at, okay, at the end of this video, what did I do? I pitched my free lead magnet. This is my free lead magnet. I said, hey, if you liked this video and you are interested in the theology of worship, don't worry if you don't know what that means. Doesn't really matter for the context of this channel. But that's what my lead magnet relates to. So I've got the YouTube content, and that pointed people to my free lead magnet. What's it say down here? It says link in description. So let's go down to the description. And what do we have? Oh, look at that. We have a link in the description to my free lead magnet. So the idea is that people watch my content. This is the weekly YouTube video that I make. I've already had this lead magnet created, so all I have to do is mention it in my video, and if people are interested, then the right people will go down to the description of the video. They'll click on the link, and let's click on that link and see what happens. We've got a super simple sign-up page. All right, so if you thought that creating a sign-up page for a lead magnet might be intimidating, let's just look at my lead magnet page here, all right? And I've had just put out this lead magnet not too long ago. I think I put it out like at the beginning of the year, and I've already had maybe 650 people download it. And so this is literally all that my lead magnet page is. It says Biblical Theology of Corporate Worship, a guide for everyday worship leaders. Download my free Biblical Theology of Corporate Worship PDF and learn what God has revealed to us in His Word about what He wants our worship services to look like. And then there's a very simple place to just put our email address in, and then they click Get Now, and they get the PDF sent to them. So that is all that my lead magnet page is. And then, of course, I had to actually make the lead magnet. But now we know, okay, we've got the content. People have clicked the lead magnet. Remember our process here. We've got the content. I just showed that to you. We've got the lead magnet, which I mention at the end of every one of my YouTube videos, or in the middle of it somewhere, wherever it makes most sense. And now let's look at the funnel part of things, because once people download that lead magnet, then they get put into the funnel. So here's what my funnel looks like. Let's go back to this page. And I know that this looks confusing, but I'll explain it here, and it's really not that complicated. So, by the way, I just updated my funnel like a month ago because I was testing out some different things. So that's why there's only been 300 people who have gone through it. But I have had like thousands of people go through my other funnels. Just wanted to point that out. So all this is saying right here is that once somebody downloads that free lead magnet, I tag them. This is called a tag. I tag them as a new subscriber, and then I also tag them as being in a funnel. That way I can filter them out of just the regular emails that I send. That way they don't get too many emails whenever they're in my actual funnel. And then this is just saying, if anybody has already gone through the funnel, don't put them through it again. And then here is my actual funnel. So this just says new subscriber sequence. My funnel is 12 days long. If you're just starting, your funnel does not need to be 12 days long. Mine's only 12 days long because I have like 3 products that I'm pitching in my funnel. And so I need time to work through each of those pitches and continue to give people free resources. But honestly, your funnel doesn't need to be more than 5 days if you only have one product that you're pitching. So let's look at my actual funnel. I'll show you what it actually looks like. By the way, this is ConvertKit that I'm using if you're interested. And then here is my funnel. You look over here on the side, and these are all of the emails that I'm sending out. This is what an email looks like. So basically, the first day of the funnel actually happens before this email gets sent out, because the first day of the funnel is just whenever I send them the free lead magnet that they signed up for. So they put in their email address, they click get it now, and then it says basically they get an email that says, hey, here's your free biblical theology of corporate worship. And then the next day, you can see this says send this email after 1 day. So after 1 day, 1 day after they sign up for that free lead magnet, I start sending them this sequence of emails. And if you see over here, this 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, 1 day, so on and so forth, that just means that they're going to get one email a day for the next 12 days. And so I start off by giving them some free resources. In this case, it's a worship rehearsal blueprint. Basically, I teach them how to lead their worship team in a worship rehearsal. This is another free PDF. Sometimes I just offer this itself as the lead magnet that I give people, but I also have it in my email funnel. And then we move on to a worship team application form. And noticed how I haven't pitched any products yet. I've literally given them the free biblical theology of corporate worship. Then I gave them a free worship rehearsal blueprint. Now I'm giving them a free worship team application form. And then now we are on to day number 4, if you count that first day where I just give them the lead magnet that they signed up for. Now we're on to day number 4, and this is when I pitch them my actual product, which is a worship team devotional. Once again, don't worry if you don't know what all of that stuff means. That's more specific to my niche. But this is me pitching my product to them on the 4th day of my email sequence. And basically, I just have an email that walks them through what the product is, and then there's a link to the product itself, which takes me to that last part of the funnel, right? So far we've worked through the content. That was my YouTube video. I mentioned my lead magnet, which is another helpful free resource. Then they get put into that funnel that I just showed, and in that funnel, I pitch my product, and my product looks something like this. This is just a worship team devotional. This specifically is a PDF. I'll show you an example of it. All it is a PDF that looks like this. And specifically for my niche, this is something that a worship leader would read with their worship team. So it's basically like a little book. And I'm selling it for $47. When they click add to cart, there's actually an upsell, which I say, do you want to add this to the cart? And that bumps it up to $67. And at the end of the day, that is the system that lies underneath me just making YouTube videos every week. And honestly, that's not that complicated. Some people have all of this complicated back-end stuff. And not only that, but they're trying to sell services. So instead of just digital products, now they have to spend more time actually on the fulfillment side of things, where maybe they're like, hey, book a coaching call with me, which that's fine if you want to do a coaching call sort of vibe of things. But I don't want to have to spend all my time doing coaching calls, because then you're working on an hourly basis and you're like, hey, I'll do a coaching call for $100 an hour or whatever rate you're trying to get. And then you're tying your income to your time. Whereas in this, remember, if we want to make $1,000 per week, working 5 hours or less, talking about what we love, then that means that we need to decouple our income potential from the time that we actually spend on the business. Because if I were to make $1,000 a week or a month, if I were to make $1,000 a month and I charged $100 for a coaching call, for an hour-long coaching call, then if I wanted to make $1,000 per month, then I'd need to do 10 coaching calls to make $1,000 per month through that income engine. And that means that I would be spending at least 10 hours per month just doing coaching calls. But the beauty of this system is that these products that I sell are all automated in the background. They're digital products. I build them once. And then this whole process of the lead magnet, the funnel, and the product, that is all automated. And once we have that built, I don't need to really touch it again unless I want to tweak it so that it converts a little bit better. But then once this part is built, the lead magnet, the funnel, the product, once that's built, then all I need to focus on is making the content. And that is the talking about what you love part. Once you have the lead magnet built, the funnel built, the product built, you can spend all of your time simply talking about what you love. And as you talk about what you love, it will drive people to download your lead magnet, which will get people on your email list, which will then allow you to work them through the funnel, which will eventually pitch a product to them. And a percentage of those people will buy the product. And at the end of the day, you have enough people coming into your email list, and you will have them going through your funnel, and a certain conversion or a certain percent of them will buy your product. And when you have enough people doing that, then you'll make $1,000 per month. And you can spend all of your time focusing on the content side of thing and not worrying about lead magnet, funnel, or product. And so the very first step in this process is what I keep talking about on this channel. It is setting up the content side of things, because this is the part of the business that drives everything else. This is the part of your $1,000 per month side income that drives everything else. Without an audience, you can't do anything. You won't have new leads coming in. You won't have anybody to help. You won't really be talking to anybody. But once you have this piece set up, then you can create a lead magnet, and then you can create a funnel, and then you can create a product. Actually, the process would probably be create the lead magnet first, so you build an email list, then build a product based on what people want in your niche, and then create a funnel to connect the two. But we can talk about those specifically in a future video. But the first part of the process is creating the content. And I know that it can be difficult to come up with ideas when you're new to YouTube, and that's why I put together the 10 YouTube video ideas that work in any niche. In that free PDF, I will give you 10 basically template YouTube video titles that will trigger some thoughts in your head about your specific niche. And not only that, but I also give you thumbnail image ideas for each of these video ideas as well. And you will have your first YouTube video idea, probably 10 of them, because all 10 of them are good ideas. And then you can start creating the video, you can make your YouTube channel, and then you can start this process of making $1,000 per month, working 5 hours a week or less by talking about what you love. So if you're interested in that, check that out down in the description below. And until I see you in the next video, talk to you next time.